All right. Shalom, shalom. By Yafia Allah. It's Icon Kabash right now with WFI Detroit coming at you with yet another live video. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glorification unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Wamalak Yahweh Shah. Right, that's all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world would inwardly call Jesus the Christ, the anointed Savior of Yasha Allah. You princes that are power, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Right, shalom, shalom. Right, in today's topic, right, we're going into occupations in ancient Israel. Right, occupations in ancient Israel. All right, you might be wondering why we're not going into Daniel 11, right? Why we're not breaking down a parable of Yahweh Shah. But all things in the scripture matter, man. Right, this is our history book, man. Right, this is our history book right here. Right, and we want to understand, the historical context of this. This stuff is ancient, man. Right, so you want to understand exactly what was going on in the ancient world, man, and see exactly how was things ran. Right, so I'm gonna kick it off with this precept. I'm gonna start it off with this precept, the book of First Maccabees, right, chapter 5, verse number 58. Sakya 5 and verse number 48. It says, "Whereupon Judas sent unto them in a peaceable manner, saying, Let us pass through your land to go into our own country." Right, so Judas, he's an Israelite, man, like one of the Maccabean brothers. Right, he said, "I want to go into our own country." So we had our own country, man. Right, and when you have your own country, and guess what? It's ran a certain way, man. Right, you have, it's a society, man. Right, so you run things, you have to run things, man, to keep your country sustainable, man. Right, let me get this precept. Right, in the book, it's Sirach. Right, this book is Sirach, chapter 38. This book is Sirach, chapter 38. And I'm gonna start. At verse number 27. It says, every carpenter and workmaster that laboreth night and day, and they that cut and grave seals, and are diligent to make great variety, and give themselves to counterfeit image, and to work a finishing work. The smith also, sitting by the anvil, and considering the iron work, the vapor of the fire washeth his flesh. Right, so it's going into these different occupations. Carpenters, you got silversmith and goldsmith, right? Different smiths that create things, right? And I'm gonna just jump down to verse number 32. It says, "Without these cannot a city be inhabited, and they shall not dwell where they will, nor go up and down." Right, so it says, without these type of people, without people working right on the infrastructure of a country, right, no city can be inhabited. You can't inhabit a city without fullers. You can't inhabit a city without carpenters and people working on it. Things just don't happen, man. You got to understand also, everybody in ancient Israel, right, they weren't on the same level. Right, they weren't on the same level as far as occupation wise and their status in the country. Right, I'm gonna get this precept. In the book of Leviticus. Right, so everybody wasn't a king or a priest, man. Right, you had order and levels to things, just like in this society. Right, you gotta have a janitor, and you gotta have the CEO. Right, that's just how it works. Right, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25. Verse number 47, it says, "And if a sojourner or stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him." Right, so it says, if one of your brethren wax poor. So you had poor men in ancient Israel, man. Like, you actually had Israelites that was poor among the people. Right, everybody didn't have a high status, man. Right, let me get this in the book of Ruth. Right, this is the book of Ruth, chapter 2. Right, it's the book of Ruth, chapter 2. So I can bear with me. In verse number 7, it says, and she said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came forth and have continued even from the morning until now, that she tarried a little in the house. Right. So you had men, they will reap, right? They will reap and they'd leave the gleanings on the ground for the poor and for the strangers and for the widows, man. Right. That's in the law, right? That's Deuteronomy, that's Leviticus 23rd chapter. Right, that they would actually gather in the harvest and all the gleanings they would leave for the poor of the people, man. Right, my family just get it, man. Right, so we had poor people among Israel, right, in our land. Right, you had a different economic status, man. Right, that's why I said in Sirach, hey, they wasn't free to go up and down, right, because they had to, be focused on that work that they were doing. If they were a potter or XYZ, man. Right, so this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, right? It's Leviticus 23, in verse number 20, right? In verse number 22, it says, and when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest, neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of the harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God. Right? It was even tithes that was given to the poor and to the widow in the land. Right? That's Deuteronomy. I'm going to get it. Deuteronomy 14. Right? Deuteronomy 14 and 29, it says, and the Levite, because he had, matter of fact, let's start up a little bit. Let's start at 28. It says, at the end of the 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe. Right? This is because they would tithe every year, but this is every 3 years. It was a specific type of tithe. Right? It says, at the end of the 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year. Hey, how's it going? Right? And shall lay it up within thy gates. And the Levites, because he have no part, it's like in the Levite, because he have no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gate, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thy hand which thou doest. Right? So they'll lay up a tithe for the poor man. So you had poor men and you had rich men, huh? Right? Let's get that. So it's different, economic status, man. When you're dealing with any nation, any country, right? And then the Lord say that they're gonna be leasing the kingdom. And so you gonna have Israelites that's leasing the kingdom, man. They're not gonna be like the heathen, right? But they're gonna be leasing the kingdom, right? They're not gonna have the same status as he's that great, as them that's great in the kingdom. All right, so I want to get this in First Kings. All right, let's get this in First Kings. Slack. All right. All right, let's get this in First Kings. All right, bear with me. The book of First Kings. Right. Right. The book of First Kings, chapter 18, to verse 3, it says, and Ahab called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly. For it was so, when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord, that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by 50 in the cave and fed them with bread and water. Right? So how can Obadiah feed 100 men? Right? How can he feed 100 men with bread and water and hide them in the cave? Right? Because he had wealth, he had status, man. He was the governor. Right? So different men had different status, man. Right? Nehemiah, he was the king's cupbearer. He had status, man. They was going to send Nehemiah with a police escort to Jerusalem, man. All right? So you got different status within the nation, right? So with that being said, we dealing with the occupation. Today we go into a fuller, right? We go into a fuller. Let me get this precept. All right, let's get that in 2 Kings, right? Let's get 2 Kings chapter 18 and verse 17, right? This is 2 Kings chapter 18 and verse number 17. It says, and the king of Assyria sent Tartan. So I sent Tartan and Rapsaris and Rapshakeh from Lachish to King Hezekiah with a great host against Jerusalem. And they went up and came to Jerusalem. And when they were, where they were come up, they came and stood by the conduit of the upper pool, which is in the highway of the fuller's field. Right? So it's talking about a conduit, which is basically like an aqueduct, right? It's pretty much an aqueduct where the water is. And it's saying that's on the highway of Fuller's Field. Now Fuller, they was dealing with the water. Fuller's Field is basically they were in a spot where water was, right? And I'm gonna get this precept, show you what they was doing, man. Right? So Fuller's Field is by water. Now check this out. It says in Mark chapter 9 and verse 2. And after 6 days, Yahushua, right? And after 6 days, Yahushua taketh him with Peter and James and John and leadeth them into an high mountain apart by themselves, and he was transfigured before them, and his raiment became shiny, exceeding white as snow, so as no fuller on earth can white them. Right? So fullers are pretty much they're it's the laundromat, man. Right? Men and women alike, they will wash clothes in the water, right? Using different forms of soap. They will wash it, stamp on it, rub it against things in the water. All right, that's why it says no fuller can. His garment was white, so that no fuller could white them. All right, because we had soap in the ancient world, right? Don't just think we were just damn barbarians, man. We had a whole society and how things was ran. So they had ancient laundromat, man. You kind of take your clothes to Fuller's Field, man, and get it washed, right? That's how we was conducting ourselves in this thing, right? So I'm gonna get this precept, Book of Malachi. It's like bear with me. This is the Book of Malachi. I believe that's what I want. The Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse number 2. It says, "But who may abide the day of his coming, and who shall stand when he appears? For he is like a refiner's fire and like fuller's soap." Right? Because the Most High is coming to cleanse the earth. But nonetheless, it says he's like fuller's soap because they will use soap and different mixtures to wash these clothes, man. All right? That's what fullers did. They washed clothes. All right? They would literally wash clothes in the conduit, in the aqueduct where water was at. All right? And I actually want to pull this up out to Zondervan, right? If you go to Zondervan, go under occupations, it'll list a bunch of different occupations. You kind of get into your heritage in this thing. Get that historical context, right? Like, what's a fuller? You got to kind of get into it. Like, what is a fuller, man? Like, why is it mentioning what is a butler? What's a cupbearer? Right? Kind of get into this thing, all right? So I'm about to pull up fuller, right? And this is actually an image, right? Right here. That's the image of them by the water, and they kind of washing the clothes, all right? So, it's like, right? So fuller says, one who washed or bleached clothing, one of the oldest arts. Both men and women engaged in cleaning clothes and other material. The fuller may have been a subdivision of the dyers, right? Because you had men, right? They would dye clothes, right? Like Tyree and Zidon, they were known for their purple dye, right? It says, however, it consisted chiefly in cleaning and bleaching garments. The cleansing was done by treading or stamping the garments with feet or with rods or sticks in containers of water. So you would kind of stump it down, whatever the case may be. All right, stump on it in the water, right? It says alkaline, potash, niter, and herbs were employed in the washing and bleaching process, right? That's going into that fuller soap. Now, you can read about niter. Right? I'm gonna get it out the the Zondervan study Bible. We gonna go to Jeremiah chapter 2. I just want to read. I'm gonna read the precept. I'm gonna kind of read how I break it down, and we're gonna pour some stuff out, right? So this is Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 22. It says, "For though thou wash thee with need tree and take much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith the Lord God." Right. So he said, regardless how much you wash yourself, your sin is still marked, right? Because you didn't cleanse your spirit, you just cleaning the outward appearance. But nonetheless, when you go here, it says the need tree, right? It says it's mineral alkaline and vegetable alkaline, respectively, right? It's like that's not what I want. I want to get this precept. Slocky. I want to get this precept. But neither is just a type of soap, right? I want to get this in Proverbs 25. That's what I want. Proverbs 25, verse 20. It says, "And as he taketh away a garment in cold weather, and as vinegar upon day tree, so is he that singeth songs with a heavy heart." Right? So when you go to here, it says nitrate, it says probably sodium carbonate, natron. Right? There is a vigorous reaction when vinegar is poured on it. Right? So it's talking about, basically a form of baking soda, man. That's what a sodium carbonate is a form of baking soda, right? And we can get neater out of this book here, out of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Right, let's pull it up. So they were actually, we had soap, and we wasn't just barbarians in this thing, man. And this is the ancient world. You're talking 970, 860, 500, 600 BC, man. Right? So this is so you bear with me. This is neat. This is neater, right? Nietzsche says not the same as our present neater, but an import mixture of washing and baking sodas found in deposits around alkaline lakes of Egypt, used to make soap, right? Used to make soap, man. So that's what neater is. Nitri is. All right. And the fullers would use that and wash their clothes. So I'm gonna go back to Fuller in his book here. Zondervan. Continue reading. It says, "The fullers discover a singular art of bleaching cloth white by aid of alkali soap, putrid urine, fumes of sulfur, and the ashes of certain desert plants. Therefore, the fullers' shops were usually located outside the city where offensive odors could be avoided. The cloth could be trampled clean in a running stream, and the fuller then have room to spread the cloth out for drying." Right? So, the fuller shop, they had their own shops. Go to the fuller shop and they kind of do their thing, man, and wash and bleach the clothes. They would make ancient bleach. All right. So I want to actually share my screen, see if I can pull some things up when we're willing. Right. See if I can pull some stuff up in this thing. Let's just look up fuller ancient. Right. Oh, it says the fullers of Rome. It says the fullers of ancient Rome were launderers who washed clothes of the city and also finished processing fabric later made into clothing, right? In Rome, they call them fullos. It says a fullo was a Roman fuller or laundry worker, known for many inscriptions from Italy and in the western half of ancient Rome. All right, so we have fullers in this thing, man. Right? They kind of soap the clothes up, and but this is from Rome. But we had those in ancient Israel, right? We had those in ancient Israel. So I want to go to the blue letter and pull up some of this stuff, man, through the spirit. Right? You pull up a fuller. I'm gonna just go to Isaiah 73. That's what I want. All right. So you see highway of fullers, it's, treaders, washers, field, to tread, to trample with feet. That's what they did, man. They trample with feet. Right? Different words. You got washed, wash. That's what they did. I want to look up Nitri or Neater, right? Through the spirit. All right, so let's get that. All right, so Nitri. It says nitron, nitrous, soda, carbonate of soda. All right, so they basically create bleach, man. On use for hand washing among Greeks. All right, so you got to kind of get into this stuff, man. Right? So that would be the occupation of a fuller. They basically were the ancient laundry mats, but they would wash clothes for people, man. Right. So Lord willing, I can keep these coming through the spirit. Just quick video going into different occupations that we had in Israel, showing how we ran our nation decently and in order. Right. So with that, I'm gonna give a Kwame Yasha Allah, right? Shabbat Shalom. Shalom.